Hi, welcome back to the Gemhawks YouTube channel. Today I want to talk to you about creating the perfect coil or swirl, however you want to think of it, and it can be used in so very many places. We often use it actually just to tidy up the bit of end wire. The end of wire, even if you use a burr cup tool, which just like chamfers off the sharp points, can sometimes be a bit of a risk either to hair, skin, clothes, or just to kind of unravelling the jewellery that you've made. So mastering a coil is really handy. But before we get stuck into how to create the perfect coil, make it a long-lasting one, there are a couple of things I wanted to just chat with you about very, very quickly, things that are going on right now. So today is the 10th of November 2019, and at the moment, over on my new Monday store, a link I shall add in the description of this video, I've got 3 project packs. Now, we touched very quickly on project packs a couple of weeks ago about what I want to do is give you a group of items which are everything you need to create a piece of jewellery, and I've got 3 available at the moment. The first one, which has already been released, are these pretty little chakra bracelets, which can be bought either with a faceted grey agate or a beautiful frosted rose quartz. They're over on my new Monday store and they're available now. And with them, as well as everything you get inside the pack to create these, you also get an exclusive tutorial that's available only to those of you who purchase the pack. So that's the first type. The second type, which is due to be released in the next couple of days, I hope, are these sterling silver bracelets, very much like the one I'm wearing right now, which have your gorgeous chakra beads in the centre. Again, are available in the beautiful faceted grey agate or the frosted rose quartz, and again you get absolutely everything you require apart from tools to create that piece of jewellery. And that comes again with an exclusive tutorial. Now, I've just finished recording with a few little technical hitches in the middle, I'm afraid to say. An easy cabochon tutorial. Now, this is going to be available in 4 different gemstone types, and I've just got a couple of samples here in the rose quartz. Now, this again comes with an exclusive tutorial available only to those of you who purchased the project pack, and that is due to be released within the next week to 10 days or so, as soon as I get my technical team on mastering video for me, because that's not something that I can do. When we get to our 500th subscriber here on YouTube, I'm going to do a giveaway on this pendant. Now, it's quite a simple design, but quite attractive, I think, and if you really wanted to, you could just pop the gemstone out of that and have the gem itself instead. It's a really beautiful banded agate with a lovely natural colouring in this instance. So 500 subs, and that's good to go. I think we're on 413 at the moment, so we're getting there. Today I'm going to show you how to create the perfect coil utilising, it can be quite a small section of wire or it can be quite an extended section of wire. Now, the coil itself can be used in a variety of places, but quite often, as I said earlier, it's a great way just to tidy up the end section of wire and also covers a multitude of sins. Now, I have right here a section of 0.8mm silver-plated copper core wire, and I'm going to show you a couple of different variations of a very standard coil. So this again is your 0.8. I'm just going to trim that in half. And when creating a coil, it pays just to take your time. If you are able to, sometimes you're not because it's just the end little bit of wire, give a little bit of warmth and fluidity to your wire before you set about working with it. The first one I'm going to show you is come very close to the end of your wire, very close to the end of your round nose pliers, and just section by section, smaller movements are best. We're going to start creating a circle. You can see that it's a combination of moving both the pliers and the hands until we get 1.5 little circles in the centre there. So what I'm going to do is now just squash that nice and flat, grip it quite firmly between the flat faces of my pliers, and then continue to build on that coil. I'm going to show you one of my favourite designs in utilising a coil, which is just a very, very smooth and perfect circle that just grows and grows and grows. So that's ideal to just sit over the front of a pendant, for instance, such as we have on the face of this pendant in the Easy Set Cab Project Pack tutorial. So that's one of the ways that you can create a coil. What you can also do is decide to just start opening that out a bit, and that's just again down to control and fluidity. So what I'm doing here, instead of closing that up completely, I'm allowing a little bit of space to occur between the outer coil and the section we've already completed. This is really quite a delightful technique to work with, and if you find that that's getting away from you slightly, just very, very gently open that back out and then continue to create that size. Now, using a good quality wire, a copper core with silver plating is ideal. Gives you the opportunity to kind of rework that if things don't go perfectly the first time. So another way that you can use the coil is just in its own right. So what I would do is I'd say that's quite attractive, a little coil that we've got working here at the moment, and I might want to make a pair of these identical and just use them as earrings. You can also use them as quite attractive little charms on the end of an extender. So on a bracelet or a necklace that you don't know the size of choice of wear, you can add a little bit of extender chain and then one of these as a charm instead of a tag at the bottom. So in this instance I'm just going to put a right angle bend, and then referring back to something that we covered a little bit earlier, I'm going to do a little wrapped loop. So bringing the round nose pliers into play, forming that circular frame, drawing that into position, supporting just the circle, not where the wires cross over, and just bringing that tail around a couple of times to build up the strength in the neck there. I think we've got enough there. Trimming very carefully just the section of wire we wish to discard. And then that's done. So that's quite pretty as a charm, as a tag, pair of earrings, however you want to use it. That is the easiest way to generate a little coil. Now, as a bonus to the coil, I'm now going to show you super simple ear wires. Most piercings in the United Kingdom, at least, I don't know about further afield, will accept a 0.8mm gauge wire to pass through. Some are slightly narrower and you may need to work in a 0.6 and then work harden, but 0.8 is fairly average. Now, for these to be comfortable in the wire, I would recommend using a burr cup, which I seem to have mislaid myself, but this is basically a small cup that sits on the end of a wooden prong and you whiz it round like so, and it just chamfers away the sharpness of a cut section of wire. So I'm now going to show you how to make a pair of super simple, super rapid ear wires. So working with my 0.8mm gauge again, I've got probably around about 10 to 12 inches available to me here, so I'm just going to cut that in half. Now again, I will point out that if you're going to put this through a piercing in the body, you need to make sure that that is finished adequately so that it isn't uncomfortable and it doesn't drag on the skin of the piercing. So a burr cup is ideal. If not, a little bit of sandpaper or a sanding wet and dry pad will just take away the sharpness of the edges and make it a little bit more comfortable. If you're working in sterling silver, all the better. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is make sure that I have two sections of wire that are exactly the same. So I'm going to bring my flush cutters in and trim one end, take those sharp little bits straight away to the bin, and I'm going to start off at the kicker end. Now, you'll often see with pre-made earrings that there is a tiny angle at the end. So I'm going to recreate that. I'm going to push up against a flat surface, in this instance the box joint of my pliers, come up about 3mm and just put a little kick on the end there. It means that when the end of wire goes through the piercing, it is less likely to come out of its own accord. So I'll show you at a later date how to make security ear wires, but for now a basic fast ear wire is what we're looking at. So I've got my little kicker. I'm now just going to grip hold of the straight section and just rub that with my thumb so that it starts coming away at a nice angle. So you can see we've got the kicker on the end, a straight bit, and then it's starting to come back on itself. Now in this instance I'm going to use a clay roller, but you can use a marker pen or something similar, any firm round form to create the next section of the design. These are going to be quite oversized for ease of demonstration. A smaller pen will give you a more realistic variation of a fast ear wire. So I'm going to press that against the round form and draw it all the way around. And you can see it's starting to take shape already. And I'm going to use my thumb again just to draw that into position. Now I am a bit of a stickler for symmetry because I think it can make the difference between a sale in a design. So I'm just going to make sure that these are perfectly symmetrical, and I'm going to grip them very, very firmly. And just opposite where the kicker occurs on the ear wire, I'm going to take one of these angled away at 90 degrees to the left and one angled away at 90 degrees to the right. And in this way we're going to create perfect symmetry with our ear wire design. So I'm just going to pop one of those down, come back in with my round nose pliers, and we're back to our old friend, the wrapped loop. Now you don't have to do a wrapped loop here, but I think it looks really attractive. It does mean that you need to add in either a jump ring, or when you're making the top section of your earring, have an openable loop there. So I'm going to show you one with a wrapped loop, which we've just looked at a second ago, all the way around, grip just the circular section, and then you can really make this very, very attractive indeed by wrapping that a good 5 times and making sure that where you cut is away from the front face. This is the bit that faces forwards. Give that a really good tight squeeze and make sure that that's nice and smooth. So I'm chasing that in the direction of the cut wire all the way around. And that's quite an attractive, very, very fast, very affordable ear wire for you. Your other alternative is to just have an openable loop. So I'm going to make a very similarly sized loop all the way around, but instead of wrapping, I'm going to come in with my flush cutters and cut that flush side remaining so that it sits as an openable loop. I'm going to give that a squeeze and ensure that it sits neatly to form a perfect circle, and giving this a really good tough squeeze right now means that we're work hardening it so that when you open and close that to add in your earring design, like so, that it will be much easier to bring that back into position. So there is your perfect guide to creating a coil and a Billy bonus demo on a very, very quick ear wire. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend. Happy Sunday afternoon into evening, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye for now.